Now I want to make sure our macro is always available on this computer. I can do this by saving it to my personal macro workbook, which is a special hidden workbook that loads every time you start Excel. I start the macro recorder and give this macro the same name as our original macro, fill days relative R. But this time, under Store Macro In, I choose Personal Macro Workbook and click OK. Just as quickly, I'll stop the recording because I didn't really need to record the steps, because I'm just going to copy over them. I bring up the Macros dialog box, and now you can see the macros I have. And here's the macro I just recorded in my personal macro workbook. And here's the macro that I want to copy. I click Edit, which brings up the Visual Basic Editor. And this is the macro sub fill days relative R. So we'll select all of it, including N sub, copy it, and then close the Visual Basic Editor. And now I'll select the macro in my personal workbook that I want to edit. But Excel says that the workbook is a hidden workbook, and we can't edit a macro. So click OK and cancel. Now we'll unhide the personal workbook. To do that, click the View tab, and then click Unhide. Here's the hidden workbook, so click OK. Click the Developer tab, click Macros, and select the macro in the personal workbook. I click Edit, and here are the limited instructions that we recorded. I'll just paste over them. Now I just close the Visual Basic Editor, which saves the changes. The last thing I want to do is clean up, so I'll hide the personal.xlsb file, the hidden workbook. Click the View tab, switch the window to the personal workbook, and click Hide. From now on, when I work on this computer, whether I open an existing workbook or create a new one, that macro in the personal workbook is always available. The next time I shut down Excel, it'll ask me if I want to save the changes to the personal workbook. Since I want to save this macro to my personal workbook, I'll click Save.